Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Pathfinder Kingmaker Enhanced Edition with me, BringItDon. So we're gonna go talk to Jubilost about his quest. We haven't done so yet. And then kingdom upgrades, I guess. I don't actually remember where I left off, and I think that's what I have. Yeah, because we just took care of the Bald Hilltop. So someone had brought up, they were asking about when I'm gonna invest into more buildings in my villages. My response was, I want to wait till after the Rushlight Tournament, because there's a lot of really good items to buy there, and I want to have as much gold as I can. And then I'll start investing in the villages. Now, I did make one error with my villages. I thought that the walls and the piers counted as the building requirements towards upgrading to cities. That is not the case. Walls and piers do not count towards your 6 buildings to upgrade to a city.
In due time.
I need to go talk to Jubilost. So I did make a small error, so that'll have to be rectified when the time comes. We'll get around to it. Jubilost greets you with unusual hospitality. Don Victus, I'm happy to see you. We haven't talked much about our adventure by the Candlemere. You know, I'm even sad that everything is over. Not only because I didn't find a way to help all the gnomes. It's just that another mystery is behind me. Another road had ended. But it was a wonderful journey, and in good company. And what are you going to do now? I hope my humble talents will be of use to you and your kingdom. Clearly you could do with the help of an expert in the First World. So I'll be around while I can be useful. Then I'll probably set off on another journey. The world is a big place, and there are many more secrets to be found. And what do you think about everything that has happened? Jubilost sighs heavily. The games of the gods and the games of the eldest. How little we matter in the clash of powers of such scale. It boggles the mind. But at least now I know the secret. And I can't say the word tentacles without shivering. Admit it, you had a bit of fun back there, didn't you? Don't tell anyone, but I did too. What an amazing adventure. But I'm going to say in all sincerity, I'm glad that fate brought us together, Don Victus. Alright. Cool. Yeah, Jubilost, for all of his snooty arrogance, he's a good guy. And he's willing to give up his immortality for, the sake of all gnomes, because he's a respectable man. And one of the reasons why I like him so much. The first time I played, I didn't like him until, Okay, here we go. Yeah, I didn't like him till the end of his quest in the first playthrough, but now I like him. Plus, he's extremely well written. Anyway, Don Victus, the townsfolk have launched a complaint against the inhabitants of the Mage's Quarter. They speak of dubious characters prowling the streets, while their sleep is disrupted by terrifying noises and flashes of color. So no big deal, right? But the people became fed up when a young alchemist's mistake led to a contained explosion. Windows all along the street started shaking, and then some sticky purple substance rained down on the town. Children started playing with it immediately. Well, that was messy. Allegedly, it made the streets smell like wet goblin's hide for a whole week. Altavia tuts. They're amazingly well versed, these accusers. They must have plenty of time to go out smelling wet goblins. I understand just how difficult it can be to live alongside mages and alchemists. But if we forbid their experiments, the magical potential of our kingdom will surely dwindle. If we limit their freedom to research, we'll clip our mages' wings, and they won't be able to help us expand. Therefore, I think we should refuse the citizens' complaint. Yeah, the experiments must continue. The townspeople will just have to put up with it. I knew you'd understand. Don't worry, I'll find a way to calm down the neighbors. We'll put on a fireworks show or something. Was that a protection from compulsion upgrade? That's exciting. So a lot of these kingdom upgrades, if you're new to the game, you might be wondering, what good are these? Because most of our adventuring takes place outside of the kingdom. A lot of the later parts of the game, in the final chapter, takes place inside of our kingdom. So that is why. I'm still on the fence about these problems. I think I'm going to cancel some of these projects real quick. So what do we need? We need Keston, Jod. What is he currently on? And this is just an opportunity, so I'm not worried about it. We're going to put him on this, the 20% chance. But he's got a special thing for it, so I'm going to put him on it. At least gives us a chance to succeed. We'll deal with the projects after they fix these problems. So I don't want him to hit. Probably 31% chance. Maybe it's not even worth trying. This is ridiculous. Alright, let's rank up. I guess the curator. Well, this should be the last upgrade for the counselor. Let's go ahead and rank her up to 10. Oh wow, he succeeded. He failed, but we still got +2 stability. Alright, so we do have a correspondence, and we have that. Okay, so let's put these guys on these projects again. I can't. Alright. We'll put him on this. And then there was, yeah, make him better at what he's doing. Alright. Sadly, no more upgrades right now. We have people to talk to. Alright, Lindsay excitedly waves around a letter written in a neat handwriting on expensive stationery. I have news. Take a look. Iravetti, King of Patak, sent you an invitation to the Rushlight Tournament. We're not going to miss it, right? And you're taking me, of course. All the high society Pataks will be there, including people from the Academy. Maybe even Headmaster Italia Gitarin. I'd love to see her face when she hears about the book Professor Eobold is writing with me. What is this tournament? Iravetti holds it once in several years. Guests come from all the nearby kingdoms, Mivon, Gralton, Brevoy. I haven't been there personally, but I hear it's always a lot of fun. And what can you tell me of Pataks and its king? Well, imagine a roadhouse full of pirates, mercenaries, smugglers, spies, and other gentlemen of fortune. They're drinking to their successes, talking business, buying, selling, hiring, choking, burying. Now take this roadhouse and imagine it's the size of a kingdom. That was Pataks before Iravetti. Now imagine some unknown bard enters the roadhouse, pulls off a few shady deals, and suddenly became its owner. Everything is the same as it was, but now the walls are covered with portraits of the owner, a brass band plays music every night, a juggler with a pet bear walks around the room, gnome strippers dance on the tables, barmen sell a variety of racy substances from Numeria beyond its beer. That's Pataks now. Iravetti holds it once in several years. Why did he wait until now to invite me? How would I know what goes on in Iravetti's head? Maybe he just thought you weren't important enough as a baron. But now you're a bona fide king. His equal, you could say. There's no reason not to invite you to what he considers the major social event of the year. Are you sure this isn't a trap? It's certainly possible. There's definitely some catch here. This is Iravetti we're talking about, after all. But I doubt he'd try to kill you at his own festival, with business partners from all his neighbors present. He's more likely to try to sell you on some fraudulent deal or another. So keep your eyes and ears open, and don't sign anything. Interesting. Well, if I have the time, why not? Great. Trap or no, it'll at least be a ton of fun. You'll take me with you, right? Pretty please? Rudra Skeggi looks much better than she did on your first meeting. Back then, she could barely stand for the wounds she'd received fighting the golem. Now the dwarf stands proudly at attention before you in polished armor. Your Highness, my dear Sir Harem, there we go. My dear Sir Harem, deeply respected servant of Grotus, the Skeggi clan has sent me to you to express our gratitude for everything you have done for us, and present you with this humble gift. We crafted this for Sir Harem personally, from the metal of artifacts unmade by him. Rudrin hands a small but heavy chest to Harem and bows. Harem frowns, trying to hide his confusion, then nods and accepts the gift. Well, I'm glad you're alright. It's nice to see someone manage to make something useful out of those worthless scraps.
Iravetti, king of Pitax, invited our king to a tournament. But why? A demonstration of neighborly amiability, perhaps? Unlikely. The ruler of Pitax was renowned for his devious guile.
Alright, so the helmet we got... Metal Reborn. This helmet gives... It's where a DR 5 versus bludgeoning and a 6 enhancement bonus to wisdom and charisma. How does it look? Oh, it looks much cooler in the helmet looks ridiculous. Alright. Well, he already gets that plus intelligence, so I think I'm going to give it to him anyway. I'll actually have him show the helmet. He loses the intelligence, but he doesn't use it as a stat anyway. So the mental perfection I can give to like Lindsay or somebody. Or her. There we go. Even better. Alright, something like that. Alright, so now we need to head towards Pitax, finally. What we'll do is we'll teleport to Glenavon. We'll explore a few areas on our way to Pitax. Unless, they might escort us directly to the Rushlight Tournament. I don't remember. So I think it's a good idea to bring... Actually, let's rest first. I think Jubilost has some good dialogue at the tournament as well. And there's no fighting to be had, so it doesn't matter if my party is optimized. Inner Demon. That's one I haven't seen before. Extraplanar Cloak. +4 enhancement bonus to Constitution and the ability to cast Summon Monster 5 spell once per day for 9 rounds. This brings wearers a barbarian. It gives them abilities rage 4 additional rounds per day. Well, there you go. And for Constitution, I might give that to Valerie. All those resistances are pretty good. I don't think this is going to actually... It's an enhancement bonus, so it might not work. Yeah, it doesn't matter. There you go. Alright. Yeah, so we're going to swap them out for now. Just to see what Jubilost has to say at the Rushlight Tournament. Now there will be some fighting on the way there, of course, because we're going to do some exploring. Alright, so where's Glenavon? There we go. So I don't want to go too far off the beaten trail, but I think we're going to head up this way. And again, do some exploring before we invest in the Rushlight. Because the Rushlight Tournament, it's going to be a couple of episodes long. There's a lot of dialogue to read.
Let's make this quick.
Let's just, Now we're not going to explore everything. I'll probably do like Raspberry Gully, and we'll probably head down this way. So we'll probably knock out those areas and then work our way down towards where Wicked Hill is at. So it'll be a lot of exploring, just not all of it. So we knock some of it out, so we don't have to worry about it later. Also, he needs to be restored. Let's see here. Oops.
I do what I must.
What are we seeing?
I'm off.
I don't remember what's here. I think it's another bullet.
Enjoy your final
This will
moments.
hurt.
Or Quickwood. Oh, and a druid.
Interesting.
This body holds no more.
Leading you out of our sword.
Immune to fire, that's interesting. A piece of sky metal, thank goodness I found that. As you search, you notice an envelope inside the bush. It's hanging from a branch by a fine chain that runs through the envelope's black wax seal. The seal is in a shape of a skull, and the chain runs through its eye sockets. You examine the envelope closely. Taking a closer look, you realize the seal isn't simply black. It seems to absorb the light. There are faint dark circles inscribed on the envelope around the seal. Try to figure out how the Enchanted Seal works. The seal itself is enchanted, will react on any attempts to either dispel the enchantment or break the seal. If the envelope is touched by anyone other than the designated recipient, it will crumble to dust. However, if you remove the seal without touching the envelope... Let's detect magic. Check the envelope for enchantments. An ominous seal on the envelope bears traces of magical influence. Carefully remove the seal without touching the envelope. After some time, with the help of simple tools at hand, you manage to remove the seal. The envelope darkens, and its lower half disintegrates with a low rustling sound, but you manage to preserve 3/4 of the letter. Okay. So what did we get? Phronidius. Your craftsmanship is improving, and your zeal has not gone unnoticed in Nidal. We're pleased by your success, and it means Zon Kuthan is pleased as well. The Emperor Court requires a new agent in the Stolen Lands. By Eloander's insistence, the Circle of Druids recommended you. Be proud, for this is a great honor, but it must yield results, for if you don't glorify the Midnight Lord with your deeds, you will exalt him with your death as you writhe on the rack. You're tasked with observing the barony, ruled by Don Victus. Though young, the state of his may seem... the state of his may seem, it is significant in that it has survived so long, especially when measured against the countless other kingdoms that sought to rise in the Stolen Lands, and now lie in ruin. This barony's persistence has attracted attention of many in Avestan, and Nidal cannot afford to lag behind its rivals. The Baron's court is still too small to infiltrate without risk of exposure. Instead, watch from a distance and pass along any information you can about events within the barony's borders. Your second objective is the search for an artifact, created by Fey magic in times before memories. The Umbral Court has been searching for it for a long time, and So I don't know which artifact it's referring to there. I think it's the one that our nemesis is searching for as well. But I'm not 100% sure on that. Because there aren't a lot of artifacts in the game that were created by Fae. I think the Force Knight Bracers are associated with the Fae. But again, I don't know. I'm not 100% which artifact they're referring to. Oh, he failed his opportunity. That's fine. Didn't want him to succeed anyway. I'll put him on an economy thing. There you go. Take care of that. Make us some money. Alright, the two-faced hill.
Thing would be nice, don't you think?
Alright.
Rest at last. Finally, I can sit and read quietly.
Why don't you pull your nose out of your books and talk to one of your companions, Jubilast? An evening by the fire is the best time for conversation.
I'm not going to waste time going to the Mysterious Shrine. Because I'm going to deal with that later. That is a... once you have full access to Patox and everything, that's when you want to do the Mysterious Shrine. Because I think there's 5 or 6 shrines.
You should have run! Their life ends here!
Repent!
Taste my fury.
I'm getting killed!
Yep.
Strike!
This is going to hurt.
Protect me, please. What?
Ouch!
Miserable.
Alright, should not have let that happen. But it's fine. It's fine. Can bring them back from the dead. There we go. Nothing to it.
In due time.
Alright, really don't need these.
My skills are absolute. Follow if you dare.
Who will prevail? Does it matter?
me, or this can't be over.
Alright, if they all have
assistance?
Masterwork swords, I'll take those.
I'm there.
Alright, another piece of the Technic League artifact, or set, artifact set. We also got to learn a new recipe. This is one of Jubilost's preferred recipes. I really haven't focused on that at all. Doing the... Because every companion has like 2 or 3 favored recipes that gives them a bonus effect for that meal. For the most part, I don't think they're really worth it. So I'm not going to bother prioritizing that in any capacity. Not when there's chocolate ice cream to be had, which I think is one of Lindsay's favorite foods, so she does get her bonus regardless. Alright, so I think Shrewish Gulch is an event. I'm going to quick save beforehand. And then we'll do that, and then we'll probably call it an episode. Yep, nope, not yet. Our way was blocked by a huge crevice in the ruddy rock, carved out by wind and rain. As wide as 3 or 4 humans lying end to end, and at least 3 times as deep, it stretched in both directions as far as we could see. Looking down over the cliff, I saw something that made me wince. Among the rocks on the sandy yellow ochre floor was a body. We examined the body below. The loose-fit embroidered frock and bronze skin marked him as a man of Taldor. His knapsack lay half open nearby, and a variety of random things were scattered along the floor of the gorge. Judging by the body's position, the poor man fell to his death. It couldn't have been long before, as the rocks and sand near his body were so dark with blood. Had he simply gotten too close to the cliff and stumbled, or did he try to climb down the rock face? And if so, why? Yeah, we inspected the wall of the gorge, trying to determine how difficult climbing down would be. It wouldn't be easy to climb down where we were, but a few dozen steps away, we found a good combination of bulges, cracks, and ledges that would make for a somewhat more convenient path. After a bit of planning, we'd plotted a route that even an amateur climber could handle. The easiest way down would be to tie a rope to one of the trees growing along the cliff. We decided the one to tie the knot and make the first descent would be... her. Once again, a length of rope proved itself indispensable for adventuring, especially when the adventurer knows how to tie a good knot. The climb down was rather easy as we pushed our feet against the rock wall and descended into the crevice. It took just half an hour for us all to climb down. Our whole team finally made it down to investigate the dead man's body. We guessed it right. The poor fellow had clearly died on impact. A lot of different types of gear had been scattered around in the sand. Armor, tools, even scythes and hammers. It was clear that this was much more than a single person could carry. We searched the dead body and looked at what had been scattered across the sand. The gear in the knapsack and on the man's body were well preserved, but most of what we found lying in the crevice floor was corroded and useless. Spearheads and swords crumbled at the touch, and the armor had so many holes that it looked like delicate lace. If not for the poor condition, there'd have been enough to outfit a whole regiment. We also noticed something that couldn't be seen from above. A large stone stood blocking a hole in the wall. A sickly sweet smell leaked out from the dark, narrow crack that remained. We decided to enter the hole in the rock. So last time I ended up regretting this, but... So we all pushed the stone together, and it moved with ease, only to immediately release an incredible stench into the air. We'd found a small cave, but what was in it? Gods. It was full of charred, half-decomposed bodies, and lying among them were huge grey eggs, covered with some sticky slime. We tried to determine what the eggs were. We'd never seen anything like them, but one of our party members recalled a story they heard from a traveling scientist late one night at a roadhouse. Drunk as could be, the gnome laughed as she recounted a tale. Yeah, the gnome laughed as she recounted a tale from some desert nomads about a gigantic worm capable of killing you with a single touch and shooting lightning from its eyes. Anytime a caravan was lost to the sands, the nomads blamed it on these worms. The female worms were said to gather dozens of corpses together to keep their eggs warm, with the extra benefit of providing food source for the newly born worms, other than their own brothers and sisters. Most citizens and academia at large dismissed the story as superstition, of course. That was when we heard some strange sounds, like someone moving huge mounds of sand nearby, and the sound was coming toward us quickly. We decided to break the eggs. We drew our weapons and struck the disgusting eggs. Our steel sank into the hard skin, and gooey green slime oozed from the eggs. There was suddenly no air to breathe. Tears streamed down our eyes, and our throats grew raspy. And we started coughing. It wasn't long before we had to evacuate, but not before we managed to destroy over half the clutch. The noise continued to grow louder, emphasized with strange, dull sounds, as though the ground itself were muttering in some otherworldly language with a dry, coarse tongue. And then a wave of sand rose from the far entrance of the gorge, and the crest of the wave was coming straight for us. It was time to make ourselves scarce. A fountain of sand and dust erupted not 100 steps from us. From the ground emerged a gigantic oblong head, attached to a long, muscular body with no shoulders. The creature clearly resembled a worm, but it was thick as a century-old oak. Its hide was covered with warts and oozed sticky yellow secretion, leaving a wet trail along the sand. Lightning shot from its gaping mouth, lighting up its immense throat. The air took on the smell of a storm as the monster barreled towards us. Yeah, we ran along the crevice floor. We flew like the wind, pushed to amazing feats of agility despite our heavy gear. We heard the crackling sound of electric discharge and the chomping of massive jaws behind us as we fled. The worm grabbed at our feet several times, but it couldn't catch us. And finally, the walls of the gorge dropped and the sand was gradually replaced by soil. We weren't sure how we eventually lost the monster. We just ran and ran until we left the gorge far behind us. Out of breath, our strength failing, we fell to the ground. Alright, there we go. I don't think we can go back to it. Yeah. Alright, well I'm going to call the episode here, and in the next one we will continue exploring. I'll hit up the Charred Ruins, maybe the Desecrated Cairn, and then Serpent Trail. Then we'll head our way south towards the Rushlight Tournament, which is all the way down there. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys in the next episode.